Hello, we're gonna do crispy chicken with sour and spicy sauce. So just get started. What you will need is the chicken thigh with skin on. If you prefer skinless ones, that's totally fine, but it has to be boneless. For seasoning, you're gonna need black pepper, salt, and garlic powder. So this is optional. For the flour, just get a regular flour. So this is mainly for extra crisp for the chicken. For the sauce, you will need chili flakes. You can use fresh chilies, that's totally fine too. And cilantro / coriander, garlic, lemon, soy sauce, sesame oil, and fish sauce. For the garnish, I will use cabbage, but I will straight it later, which is gonna take you some time and you need some skill on using the knives. So if that's difficult for you to do that, I will just recommend you have this alternative. Can be any type of veggies that don't come with a strong flavor. Okay, then before we start cooking the chicken thigh, we need to season it first. Put on the black pepper, salt, and this is optional, as I mentioned. Garlic powder. I will add a little bit garlic powder. Just a little bit, don't do too crazy, don't do too much. Okay, so prepare a bowl, and it will just need a little bit of flour, just enough to cover the chicken. Grab your chicken, put it in the bowl, and start covering the chicken thigh with the flour, so it will look like this. Alright, so for the sauce, every ingredients just go with minimum and adjust the flavor based on your preference. First thing is here's the fish sauce. I will add 2 spoons of fish sauce. And FYI, this is just for me, for one person. So imagine if you are cooking for 4 people, more, okay? Yep. So next thing you need is the soy sauce. So soy sauce, you don't go crazy with it. You just need a little bit for color. Next is the lemon. For lemon, you will do the same thing. Don't go crazy at first. Do a little bit and adjust it later. Okay? And chili flakes. So if you like spicy, you put more chili flakes. If you don't like too spicy, just a little bit. So just like I said, adjust it based on your preference. Okay? And make sure you taste your sauce before you serve your meal. That will be great, because that's how you know if the sauce is what you like. I would definitely recommend to taste your sauce before you serve the meal. Alright, so I'm gonna use a whole clove of garlic, and you have to mince it. Alright, So add the minced garlic to your sauce. Next thing, the cilantro slash coriander. You have to mince it too. So right now, add your minced slash cut coriander, cilantro. So this is the sesame oil. And for this one, it's a bit tricky because you don't need too much. You just really need a little bit. You need a little bit flavor of this, but don't go too crazy. So stir. And like I said, before you serve your meal, make sure you taste your sauce. Make sure it's not too spicy. Make sure it's not too salty or too sour. So if it's too sour, you add more water. If it's too salty, add more water. And if it's not salty enough, add a little bit more fish sauce. But like I said, don't go crazy with it. Okay, so we're gonna prepare our shredded cabbage right now. So for this part is the most difficult part of all the cooking steps. So if you find it too hard, like I said, use this alternative. All right. So a lot of time when you cut a piece of the cabbage, you will find like this layers, right? But I don't do it all at once. I will do it 2 to 3 layers at a time. So let me show you how to do that. Make sure you have a plate ready. And so what I thought is, because I'm gonna shred it, you don't want it to stack too much because that's gonna be too hard for you to cut. So just keep it minimum, like 3 to 4 layers, depending on how good your skill using the knife. So just get started. So right here, you will see I cut it into half just because that it's better for me to use the knife to shred it. Okay, so what we're gonna do later is we're gonna use our knife against the edge and cut it and shred it, the cabbage to the very thin line. So that's gonna, and let me show you the first step. So if you really don't know how to use the knife perfectly, you have to maintain really good practice on how to use the knife. The main goal here is not to cut your fingers. You have to cut it against. See, you can see how against my fingers. It's like this, and cut it so I don't cut my finger. Okay, so you make sure you cut it against this part. Okay, make the knife against this part so you don't cut yourself. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. Do it slowly. Okay, so this is how you shred the cabbage. You can see it's very thin, right? So this is how the cabbage looks like right now. Next up, we're gonna cook our chicken. So make sure to shake off excessive flour. Okay, and preheat your pan. Pour some oil. If you pour too much, that's totally fine because we're not gonna eat the oil. Okay. So if you have the chicken thigh with skin, make sure the skin side down first. So it will be like this. And give a little press just to make sure it will cook evenly on each part of the meat. And keep the heat medium low. I will position it at here, though we don't want to go too high. The reason why is our chicken is gonna burn, and the surface will be cooked more quickly than the inside. So when you serve it, it's not gonna be fully cooked. So we should start low and medium, just to make sure it will be fully cooked and give the crisp that we want. And like if you like the skin, this part is very crucial. We are going to extract all the oil from the skin, so your chicken won't get too oily, and the skin will eventually become very crispy, and it's going to be really good for your dish. Let it sit, let it cook, don't move it. Okay, so it's roughly 5 minutes in total right now. I'm going to flip it and make sure to check the surface before you flip it. So let's check first. You can see it's golden than before. It's good to go. Flip. So flip it. Alright, let me adjust the time. So I cook each side for 6 minutes. Okay? So let's take the chicken out from the pan right now. And when you take the chicken out from the pan, let it rest for 1 minute. Okay, so let's start building your layers. You have your cabbage ready, you have your chicken ready, fully cooked, and you have your sauce here. So just cut the chicken into pieces, like big chunk of pieces. And place it on the top of your cabbage. Just like this. And pour your juice over everything. And this is how you make the sour, spicy chicken with cabbage.